like such a people pleaser. And so it was like, oh my gosh. But I read that book, Go for No, which changed my perspective on things. And then honestly, it's like anything. It's like you just get used to it. You know, it's like the more you do something, the more it becomes your normal. And so,
oh, we lost her.
you know, whatever, I was terrified to do a wrap party, you know, now it's no big deal. Then I was terrified to make a YouTube video, you know, and I made, I don't know how many. Then, you know, I was terrified to do a live video. And so it's like, you're always going to be afraid. I mean, it's actually instinctual. Like your body tells you anything that's new is probably going to put you in danger, and it triggers that like fight or flight. So it's actually like part of your biology. But if you push through that fear and show yourself that like, once again, you're okay, you made it through, you become callous to it, and it's not a big deal. So now I can get no's all day long. And honestly, you don't get no's that much. I just did a contest with some of my girls this last weekend, and I was like, let's see if over the weekend we can get to 10 no's. I can't even tell you how many people I messaged. I messaged like 300 people over the weekend, and I came up with 7 no's out of 300 people. Now I had no responses, and I had not, you know, like not right now, but just straight up no out of like, and it might have even been over 300 people, and I still only came up with 7. So you don't get no's that often.
Yeah.
Caitlin was a machine on the messaging this weekend. And it was funny because in our group, you guys, everyone's like, I didn't get any no's, but I got a loyal customer. So it's like, you just have to ask. But I think what helped me the most, I can't remember who said this. Maybe Amanda, you can remember who said this, or Caitlin. But someone told me to think of it like has anyone worked in the restaurant industry before? Yeah. So when you go, you're like, hey, can I bring you guys a dessert menu? Or you read them the desserts and they say no. Do you want to go cry in a corner? No, you move on with your life. That's what you need to do. Like, move on with your life. Like, if they don't want it, it's a no right now. There's every 6 to 9 months, people have a life change. And Caitlin and I were just talking about this today. It's so funny because whether that's a move or a new job, or even like, I mean, you could change I'm just going to say it, like hormones, like whatever. I mean, you never know. Like, everyone has changes. So, I mean, even if it was no then, it may not be no later. And so you just don't know what people's circumstances are. So even if they tell me no, I don't give up on them. And most of the people that have told me no actually come back and become customers. So you just got to make sure that, you know, like, it's hard to grow thick skin. I was the same way. Like, I would avoid messaging because I didn't want to hear the word no, but I reframed my thinking. And that's what this business is all about, reframing your thinking. If you get a no, if I get a no now, I feel really badass because I know I've been working my business and I've been messaging people. So I'm like, oh.
And I'm excited to get a response.
Yeah. And I usually have some sort of interaction with them. Like, if they say no to the products, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. If you know anyone, you know, for your time and for responding, I really appreciate it. And they're like, yeah, of course, best of luck to you. And I said, if you know anyone who would be interested, I would really appreciate the referral. And none of those people have stopped following me because they said no. So they don't stop following my social media. In fact, Caitlin and I, it's weird, you guys. We were literally just talking about this stuff, were we not, today? Like, it's so weird. Before Amanda even sent the questions, it was so crazy. Most of the people that say no still are my biggest supporters on social media, and like every single photo. Like, it's so crazy. So it's all about retraining your brain.
Yeah, definitely. I also agree with Caitlin. Like, the Go for No book literally changed like my mindset. Like, I wouldn't ever really care, but I'd be like, oh, like, that stinks. But, you know, and it kind of would, you know, take you back a little bit. But as soon as you guys, I always recommend like reading that book. It literally like changed like my mindset. And I actually go for no every single time I'm messaging. I don't like those in between. So I either want them to tell me no, or I want them to tell me yes. I don't like it when they don't respond. And so even when I like have a customer, so say I have somebody, they tell me yes, they want to order, I still go for no with them. And so what I mean by that is, say that they are wanting the wraps and they're like, yes, I want the wraps, sign me up. I get their information. Before I sign them up, I say, hey, Sally, I know, like, I'm going to get you these, you know, wraps ordered for you. I just wanted to make sure, did you want anything else? Did you want the defining gel that goes with that, with those wraps to kind of enhance those results? And if she says yes, then I say, perfect. Did you also want like any kind of skincare line or anything like that? And if she's, and you know, I keep asking her until she's like, no, because sometimes they don't even know what other products we have. And so I keep asking, even when I have a potential, or even when I have a loyal customer who's about to order, I keep asking them until I get a no. So I am always in my mindset, I am always going for those no's. And like Caitlin and Jackie said, like, you just have to kind of get over it. You have to just have a thick skin and say, you know what? They're not telling me no personally. They're telling no, it's not good time. It's money. It's, you know, there's something going on with them that they're not interested at that time. But I will say also, majority of my loyal customers and distributors have probably told me no a couple times. So you never want to, you know, dismiss them unless they're like, no, please take me off of, you know, stop asking me, pretty much. And Jessica, I saw that you asked a question, how do you respond to the no's? I actually, if somebody does tell me straight out, no, I'm not interested, I will respond and I'll say like, oh yeah, no problem. Would you be interested in me updating you on future offers? And if a lot of times they're like, oh yeah, that's perfect. I have had a couple of people say like, no, I'm good on what I have. And what I do with those people, I end up just deleting them. I don't keep them on my friend list because I want to make more room. In fact, you guys, I just deleted 1,000 people on my friend list just in the past like week or so since conference. Because I want to have the people that are on my friend list, I want them to be my potentials, right? So yeah, so I always go for no. So if you have not read that book, make sure you do. It's literally amazing. And it's so thin. It's like a day read. So
it is. It's really short. And honestly, you guys, like
Oh, did you freeze again?
Yeah.
when I was thinking about, am I unmuted?
Yep.
Yeah, you were just frozen.
Oh, okay. When I think about like my time in the business and, you know, like all the peaks and valleys I've had, when my business has been in a standstill, it's been because I haven't messaged and I haven't grown my network. Like those are the two things that I feel like are more important than anything is are you daily messaging people and are you daily growing your network? Because even if you're messaging people all the time, if new people aren't seeing your stuff, it doesn't matter, you know, like you have to keep getting new people in there. And like I went through today and I was getting rid of people who I just knew it wasn't going to like bring me business. And I was getting rid of people who were like even friends on my Instagram because I've reached my limit of people I can follow back. And I was, you know, looking at all of them and I'm like, hey, love you guys. Like, give me a call if you want to catch up, shoot me an email, you know, or send me a text. Like, I just, you know, that's what that's there for, is for business. And I want to constantly be bringing new people into my network. So if you're like thinking like, gosh, my business isn't growing, I guarantee you're not messaging enough people and like daily, and you're not growing your network enough.
Yeah, definitely. And that brings me to the next question, which I want to say I am so proud of Caitlin because Caitlin is not a messenger, you guys. It just, messaging people just does not come naturally. But Caitlin, we were talking yesterday or the day before, and she was saying, oh my gosh, like I literally just started messaging people and I got six or seven loyal customers. So I'm like, yes, like that's amazing. I
want to show you guys this really quick. This is, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is from 2 days of messaging people. So
yeah, and message you guys. So that brings me to the next question. Like somebody asked, like when you're messaging, what are good messages to send out versus bad messages to send out? Because of course we don't want to spam people. We don't want to, you know, we are building relationships with people. So Caitlin and Jackie, what are some of your tips when you are messaging people? How do you go about that? What kind of messages do you send out? Who are you sending them out to? That kind of thing.
So just something that really, I think Pam Sauter said this and it really rang true. A confused mind says no. So be direct, like don't beat around the bush and say what you mean. And, you know, don't think people are like, oh, it's going to be awkward if I message them. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. So remember that too. So like if you are messaging somebody and you're like, hey girl, have you thought about joining anymore? Thought any more about joining? And I would never say that. Like say, hey girl, we have this awesome $10,000 bonus up for grabs right now. The timing could not be more perfect. Are you ready to do this today? Are you ready today? Like make sure you're saying that. Like don't use the words like, have you thought about this? Have you so just be direct and, don't give them options. As far as products go, I always give them 3 choices. Like, obviously they can order more, but if I'm messaging somebody, especially like if I'm messaging them on Instagram, if they'd like a picture or something, I tell them, hey, I need product testers for hair, skin, and nails, greens, and the wraps. And so like once I'm talking to them, I can tweak it to what their goals are. But I feel like if I go in with nothing or I go in with too much, people get confused and shut down. So same thing as like rambling on a message. Keep it short and sweet because, people just don't have that capacity. Like, especially when you're being asked something. I know I've seen messages from people who sell Lip Sense or Unique and they've sent this long thing and I don't read them. I'm like, I'm busy. We're all busy, So that's my best tips for messaging.
Yeah, I agree. Keep them very short and simple and to the point. And like Jackie said, very direct. And with anything, I think like even if we're talking to a loyal customer or distributor, if we feel like if our words aren't confident, if they aren't direct and like to the point and they're just like long-winded and just kind of we feel uncomfortable, it literally will let them feel it will make them feel uncomfortable too. And so yeah, I think direct, like to the point, short and sweet. And then what I do too is I will, like what Jackie says is like, if somebody comments on like your pictures, they like or comment, then message them. And kind of what I do is I just ask them that same question. I already know that they're interested in the hair, skin, and nails. They just said it on my post, but I'll message them and say like, hey Heather, are you interested in the hair, skin, and nails? And they're going to say yes. And then I get right to the point. I don't say like, oh my gosh, I love it. It's so good. Like my hair grew 2 inches. Like, I just get right to the point and I'm very, very direct and to the point. Like if you look at my dialogues, there is no like fluff in there at all. Except if I know that there is somebody who kind of, a person who kind of is like that, then I might add a little bit more like cushion there. But if you look at my dialogues, like they are very, very direct and to the point. Caitlin, do you have any other tips on your messaging?
Use people's first names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So and whenever I give messages, I always just put, hey girl, just because it's easier than putting hey blank or something, but always use the person's name because that really changes things. Once people like to hear their name, they instantly feel connected to you. And then, besides that, just short and to the point. The message I've been using that I used all weekend that worked really well is I just told people I was running a weekend special to pick any 3 products and receive 40% off. And because it was a weekend special, people knew they had to get back to me right away. And then also, like, even people who had no idea what I did, they were like, yeah, I'm interested. What products do you have? And then from there, I'd say, what are your goals? And, and that would give me an idea because, of course, they're like, oh, I want to lose weight or, whatever. So that's the most recent message I've used that worked really well.
Yeah. How do you deal with concerns about safety with friend requesting new different people and also posting pics with you and your family? That's what Allison just asked. Do you guys want to answer or do you want me to?
I feel like I'm such an a-hole tonight, but you guys, if you're on social media, my brother-in-law, he's a computer programmer, but glorified, not a hacker, but whatever. I'm just saying, if your stuff's online, it's accessible. So anyone can get your stuff. If you're on social media, if you're that afraid of it, like my friend, for example, her husband's on the SWAT team. She's not on social media at all, you guys, like her and her husband. So if there are concerns, like, I'm just going to be real. People can get your stuff anywhere. So it's something that you kind of have to come to terms with. And this is network marketing. So you're going to have to network. And one thing about this business is people are buying you before they're buying the product. So they're buying into who you are as a person, what your lifestyle's like, what you're doing, how you're using the product. So, I totally get it. I think we live in a crazy world and I totally get it. But, you know, you do have to be realistic too and know that if you are putting stuff on the internet, it is not, Facebook's not secure, you guys. Let's be honest. So it's just the way it is, you know, and I totally understand your concern and I don't mean to not address it, but that's just, you know, I know Caitlin and I and Amanda we talked about that in the beginning too, because this is a very public business, you guys. Like, we're in the public, like, we're networking, we're on social media. And so safety is a concern. You want to be careful. Like, obviously I make sure I don't do a live video and go and flash my address, even though people can still get my address. They could type our name in it. But I mean, there's really no way to hide in this age of technology. It's just the way it is.
And that's the thing, is your information is accessible to everyone. And do you guys remember you used to get phone books that had everybody's phone numbers and addresses delivered to your door? Okay, that information still exists. It's just online now. And so, like, it's not like, we just feel like everything's scarier because it's online and it's in front of our faces, but it's not. And I'll tell you, I almost didn't get a job because somebody saw my Facebook. I ended up getting it, but I got hired by an ad agency and my Facebook was completely private and I did not have hardly anything on there yet. And let me tell you, they still got into it quite easily. And in the interview, when they told me that they almost didn't hire me because of something they saw on there, I was like kind of peeved, you know, and I was like, how did you even see that? It's private. And I remember they laughed at me and they're like, nothing is private. Remember that, nothing is private. So your stuff's already out there on the World Wide Web, so welcome.
And you guys, my brother-in-law's going to kill me. He's not a hacker. Like, he writes code, okay? And he's like a computer programmer. I was like, this is being recorded. I should clarify. But anyway.
The other thing that I do is, like, when I'm adding people to my network, I make sure that they don't look like scumbags. Like, I make sure that they don't look shady or anything like that. I mean, you never know, but like, I only add females. And I make sure that I add people who, like, I have interests with, you know? And so obviously when I add them and they become like, they're not somebody I would want to have on there, then I just delete them. But mine is public, so anybody can see my stuff. And I'm not worried. It's not like I'm posting like my address up there or anything like that. And I've never had any kind of issues, so.
If you guys are all in Arizona, sorry, I'm just going to let you guys know you're worried about your stuff being found. The Maricopa County Tax Assessor's Office keeps everybody's deeds on file, and you can type in anybody's name and look it up. And also, since Arizona is a public record state, you can go on the Maricopa County Superior Court website, and you can look up anybody's case information. And so you think that you're hiding and you think people don't know, but it's so easy to find people's information without even going to Facebook. And I had to get over that myself. I didn't want to add people in the beginning, and it does nobody any good. And you just
think of it this way. You're not that special.
No.
But you know what? And also, you guys, like, I just want to believe people. I'm not putting my head in the sand, but I want to believe most people are inherently good, especially the ones we're talking to. And so, like Amanda said, like, do your research. You can tell a lot from someone's Facebook profile. I mean, I know we can't tell everything, but I mean, like Amanda said, I only add females on Instagram. If I see guys following me, I'm like, sorry guys, like, it's not really I mean, I'm not saying we don't want guy distributors, but I'm just saying, like, that's not really the demographic I'm going after, me personally. So
yeah, definitely. And you know what, like, the people that have, like, so there's a lot of like fake accounts out there. So if you guys get a friend request from somebody who has like 10 friends and they only have like their profile picture, just delete them. Don't even accept those. Those are just those are just fake profiles. So, okay, next question. Okay, so I have been getting a lot of people who are hesitant about the $99. How do you get people to look past that startup fee? So I can go if you guys want. What I've been doing is distributors is all about your confidence. So if you make a big deal about that $99, even though I'm sure you probably aren't, but if you're like kind of hesitant about like when it gets to that point to tell them like, okay, it's $99, like you got to that point where they're like, okay, yes, sign me up. And you're like, okay, it's $99. And then you feel like awkward saying it because you know that they're going to be like, oh, wait, I have to pay to do this. they're not going to do it. So here's my biggest tip for you guys in getting distributors. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your confidence. So even if you're new in this business, you have to show confidence even if you don't have it. So when I sell somebody, like I tell them right away, when somebody's like, can I get more information? I give them a little bit of information, and then like right in the middle of there, I say, it's $99 to get started. You get, a box of wraps, and you get a $20 product credit and marketing material. And then I kind of wait till what they say. Sometimes even I'll say, I just let them know, I'm like, just like any other, like if they're like, is there a startup fee? I say, just like any other like this is a business, and just like any other business that is starting up, there's going to be a startup fee. Fortunately, we have a very, very low one. And I feel like every time I say that, they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Like this is a business. They like relate to it. But I will say the biggest thing ever, you guys, if they're hesitant about that $99, then you just, you got to kind of figure out how you're kind of relaying that message, because if they're serious about making extra money, they're going to come up with that $99. $99 is a lot of money. It is, but anybody can come up with $99. And so if they are serious about working the business, they will do it. And I'll also say the people who said that they don't have money and they keep saying, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money, and then they finally do start up, those are probably my people that really don't do much for some reason. So I think the more confident that you are when you're talking to a potential distributor, and the more, like Jackie said, your distributors are going to buy into you. So if you're hesitant at all about the verbiage that you're using, or if you feel uncomfortable because you're not quite sure what you're saying, then it's going to come off that way. So you want to have it's all a mental, state, and then you want to be confident when you're talking about that. And like, I literally have sent out so many messages about this opportunity, and that has never been an issue for me this time around, because I'm like being direct. I'm like, this is how it is. You want it or you don't, kind of thing. So right. Do you guys have
I honestly don't take people seriously if they are complaining about the $99, because to me, automatically that tells me that they don't see this as a business. They see this as a hobby, and they don't see themselves being successful, and they're not taking it seriously, because nobody, like if $99 is too much for them to find to start, it's because they think they're going to lose money. And if they think they're going to lose money, then they're not even going into it with the right mindset. So I mean, once I'll usually explain that to people and just say, this is a business and it's a small investment to get started. If you're going to do this, you need to have the mindset that you're going to make money, because none of us start to lose money. This isn't a hobby, and kind of go from there. And if they're like, oh, okay, like if that's the reassurance they needed, is to hear that it's not a hobby and it's a business, then cool, let's go. But then if they're like, well, like, I don't really want to waste my time with them. So
yeah, you guys, those are all exactly what I would have said as well. And I think just, of course, the thing we all know is that reassuring people that they can make their initial investment back immediately by selling those wraps is huge. And I think when they hear no risk investment and you tell them why it's a no risk investment, sometimes that'll ease their concerns. But I'm just like you guys. If someone's like, not, 99 is too much, but yet they are not willing to either figure out how to get the money or pre-sell the wraps, like I don't feel that motivation inside it. I don't feel like they're ready to own a business, I guess, is really, like, if they're not ready to take on a $99 overhead, I'm not ready to take them on with my time, if I'm being honest, and so, because and I'm not saying I just, if they came up with it, I wouldn't do that, but I think those people that do pre-sell wraps, they do pretty darn good in this business because they hustled from the beginning. And so, yeah, you guys just got to find your rhythm and wording with it. But like Amanda said, be direct. I never beat around the bush about the cost of this. Like, I'm never like, oh, right. Like, the worst thing you can do is right where they're going to sign up, be like, oh, it's $99. Did I tell you that? Because then you seem shady. And that's the same with the auto shipment. I am very upfront with an auto shipment with them. I'll tell them, like, this is, what you need to do, because if people have information, they're more likely to do it versus springing it on them later. So
yeah,
there's two things that stuck out to me. One was when Cammie Dempsey on a Zoom said, she was like, I don't want to work with people who have a broke mindset. it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, yeah, me either. I don't care if you're broke. I was broke when I started, but I don't want to work with people that have a broke mindset. So that stuck out to me. And then the other thing was I heard Jocelyn Yates say, if you have to convince somebody of why they need to join this business, like you have to basically convince them to sign, you're going to have to convince them to work. So, and you don't want to do that because that just doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, definitely. The other thing I was going to say is like, if you guys, I think somebody asked this a while ago, but, or maybe it was a question that somebody asked, but if you guys are having a hard time, if everyone is telling you no, like they're not into it, or they can't afford the $99, or, this just isn't for them, you got to find a new network. You got to find people who are going to want.
Go get new friends.
Go get new friends. Surround yourself with other people who are going to want this kind of stuff, because you guys, they're out there. Like, we've been doing this, like I've been in this business for 3 years, and Caitlin and Jackie have been in it, that long too. And so, Jackie longer, but like, we're still finding people every day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still adding potentials to my list every single day. But I'm getting a new network. Like, I'm constantly adding and deleting people from my network. And so if you guys are having that hard time, like, you gotta grow your network and grow it with people that are going to be, wanting this kind of stuff. So, so get some new friends out there. Sorry. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one for Jackie, because I know you're so good at those, and Caitlin too, but you were just mentioning the online parties. So how do you find people to actually go in, like, say that they're going to go to the online parties? Because like some people, will invite like 200 people and there's like 5 people that go. So how do you get people to actually go to the live Facebook parties?
Don't invite 200 people. Make it intimate. 10 to 15 people. I need you guys to know I'm not telling you to give people products to sign up. Like, I need to make a huge disclaimer, okay? It's against compliance. However, my party hosts, I treat them right. Let me just tell you, like, if they don't have to sign up as a loyal customer to get the free products, but I do give them incentive. Like, the more, and you can do what you want. Like, as far as like, I'll tell my host, okay, for every 2 friends that you get on this party, I'll give you a free product of your choice, or whatever you want that way. But this is a slippery slope, and this is why I don't like to tell people this, because I can see this running rampant, taken the wrong way, and being like, oh, Jackie told me sign up loyal customers and give them a free product. I'm like, no, that's not what I said. So make sure you guys know that it's, your party host, just like we can wrap them for free, you can spoil them in other ways. You just can't make them sign up as a loyal customer to get those products or whatever you're going to do. Okay. So incentivize them, get them to participate, get them to be excited about it. And I'm sorry, human nature, people love free stuff. So it's like, give some wraps away to your host, or ask her what product she's been dying to try. Is it the cleanse? Like, so maybe ask her that first. Like, don't just say, I'll give you a wrap for free. Like, if it's an online party, ask her, like, what has this person been wanting to try? If it's my potential loyal customer, because that's who's been holding some for me and where I have better luck. And sometimes they don't even sign up with me, but their friends do. So that's okay. And it broadens my network. But I'll ask them, like, if I've been talking to this potential loyal customer about the cleanse for freaking 2 months, and finally I'm like, okay, let's do this. How about you hold an online party? You guarantee to get 10 to 15 people on there. And like, I explained to her, like, they need to participate. You need to encourage them. You need to promote it, like, get them to do something for it. Then I'm like, I'll give you a free cleanse for holding that party to say thank you. So I think, when it's not intimate, when it's like 200 people, that just doesn't work. Your people can see that and they're like, oh, it's just one of those big party things. Where if your guest, like, I tell them, like, yes, I'll do the work, but you need to message them. You need to text them, and you need to tell them that this is going on so that they're aware of it. And you need to be excited, or else, you're not going to get any of the party host rewards. And so kind of make it, I don't know, like, I run mine over 3 to 4 days. So obviously people bounce in and out and whatnot, and I kind of keep track. And you could do giveaways within your party and have people check in under there to see who's paying attention. But but yeah, that's my best tip. So just make sure you guys know I'm not telling you to give people stuff to sign them up as a loyal customer, but you can spoil your party host by having her, giving her a free product of her choice or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things, talking about like being like intimate with the people that you invite, one of the things that actually Courtney Packett, she is the one who kind of taught me this and suggested this is like, instead of inviting like all those friends, to your Facebook party, message them first and say, hey, like say you yourself is hosting a Facebook party and it's not like a potential or something like that. So you're inviting all of your friends, message them first and say, hey, I'm hosting this party, like, we're offering free products, would you like me to invite you to it? And so that way that they're going to say yes or no. So that you're, who you're inviting. It's more intimate. It's people who want to be there instead of people who are just like being added to it, So like for instance, we are having a potential like an opportunity one tomorrow. And so we just added, we just invited or messaged all of our potential distributors and said, hey, do you want to be on this? Party? And so you can learn about the business and, and then you can give them incentives too. But, so I think it definitely, to be more intimate and, I think that helps a lot.
And just to add really quick, if you guys are having a launch party, reach out to those people and tell them why you want them there. Like tell them, I would appreciate your support so much. Like, I'm so excited to start my home business. Like, your opinion means the world to me. I would love to have you as a product tester. Like flatter them, tell them why you want them there and make it personal.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Oops, I keep losing it. Okay. So let's see. What are your guys' tips when you have when you have a new distributor come on? What's your biggest tips with them on getting their first 4 loyal customers?
Caitlin, do you want to take that one?
I give a message to send out to everyone they know, and then I give them a Facebook post to make, and then I also let them know that if they get their first 4 loyal customers within 72 hours, I'll let them buy it. Like I'll buy whatever shirt they want from the It Works store.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I love that. I tell mine to someone who was it Charity who said this, the chicken soup list, and I loved it. And I've just latched onto it. Like, because, she says, think of those 4, or what does she say? 5 to 10 people. If you had the best news in the world, like who would you call and tell? And I think that's important because you guys, they do have the best news in the world. They just started their own business. They just became business owners. Like people should be so excited that they just paid that $99. So write those people down. The other best advice and I think Lauren Casamata said this at conference. I think she did. Print out in your eSuite. There's the BV and the product list. Print that out. Go through your friends' Facebook list, or maybe you can do it by memory or by thinking of people, and write down by every single product a person you think would like this product. If you know someone who's pregnant who would love the Stretch Mark cream, go through and then you reach out and message them. So you will have somebody for every single product that you can reach out and ask.
That's a good idea. And I kind of do the same, like with Caitlin. I kind of give them a challenge. I give them a week. I say, get your first 4 loyal customers before either, your kit gets there, or a week. And then, and I'll buy you a product of your choice. And then I always like to give them like a sample post or a message to send. And I always say contact, like your hundreds list, but I say the first 10 people that like come to mind that you would tell good news to, contact them and just ask them, say, hey, I'm so excited. I just got into this business. I'm so excited. Would you mind doing me a favor and being one of my first customers and ordering a product from me for 3 months? Something like that. Like if you go to your friend or family and say, I am so excited. Would you do me a favor and be my first customer? Chances are they're going to be your first customer. Like they're going to want to help you out when they're your friends and your family. Now, if you don't have, like some people sign up and they don't have, friends and family right off the bat who are going to want to do this. So like Jackie said, like go onto your Facebook or, make your list and, go to your friends on your Facebook and say like, okay, I'm going to contact these 10 people and just kind of tell them what I'm doing. And, but definitely the best thing is just to get out there and reach out to people. Like, try not to think about it. I always think back like how I got my first customers, and I think I did it within like my first like week or couple days or something. And it was just, I literally didn't even know what I was doing, but Caitlin told me, Amanda, you have to like get your first 4 customers. Like, that's the first thing. And try to get them to do like the skinny pack. So literally all of my first 4 customers, they were all like, like the skinny pack or something like that. So it was like the wraps, the defining gel, and fat fighters. And like all 4 of them were that, because I'm like, hey, I'm looking for 4 people to do this pack. Like, who wants to do it? And they were random people, you guys. I was that person who, like, I think one was my mom, but I was that person who I had to go onto Facebook and ask random people. Like, my friends weren't going to do it. Like, you know, like they were like, no way. Eventually, like some of them became like my customer, but I had to go onto Facebook and find random people. And I didn't know what I was really doing, but I knew, like, you know, Caitlin was like, okay, do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it.
I totally forgot about that, but it just shows you guys, like, I mean, Amanda was like one of my very first distributors. That's just like ignorance on fire. And I just saw that like the skinny pack had more volume, and so it was going to help us fill those boxes. And that was our big package at the time, where it was like, if you want results, that was like our system. You know, if you want results, you get the skinny pack. And so whenever people would want wraps, I was like, oh yeah, but what you really want is the skinny pack.
And people like that name. That's the other thing. The skinny pack. They're like, oh, a skinny pack? Okay, it'll make me skinny. Like, it's a buzz. It's like it's a buzzword. I guess.
You know what's funny is that was one of the messages I sent out recently, was saying, hey, I have 2 skinny packs left at 40% off. Would you be interested? And people love the name skinny pack. I can't tell you how much response I got from saying skinny pack.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a good message. I'm like writing that
That
down.
is a good. Will you, hey Caitlin, since you are like a message queen now, can you write, or can you copy some of your messages, or just like copy and paste them?
Yeah.
People can see what you're doing.
It's so funny to hear that, because you guys, I've never been, the only time I've been a messenger is like when I've done like challenges with like Amanda, where she like sets up a challenge and I'm like, yes, I'm doing it. So, this is like a whole new era for me. But I literally, the next time someone tells me they can't get business, I'm gonna, like, I totally get how, like, Amanda is probably like, you guys are liars. Because I'm like, that's gonna be my attitude now, because there's no way you're messaging people daily and adding to your network and not getting business. It's just not happening.
That's why I say, you guys, the 4 things that we should all be doing every single day with our business, even if you only have that 20 minutes or whatever, is going to be, you know, of course, posting on social media, talking to people, like adding new people. So, you know, adding to your network, relating, like, you know, building relationships with people. So sending them happy birthdays, commenting, liking on their posts, building that relationship. And then the 4th one is messaging people. And those messages, I clump all of my messages together. So my follow-ups, I'm following up with people, you guys, every day. I don't just do it on Fridays. Because when you're doing this business correctly, you're going to have people to follow up with every single day. Like, if you look at my calendar right now, I have people every single day. Like, my boxes are full with people that I'm following up with. And so when you're doing it correctly and you're doing those 4 things every single day, you're going to have people to follow up with every day. So my messages are people who I'm following up with, people who that are like my potentials, people who I go through like my A through Z list like every month, and just people, you know, that I've talked to before who told me no, that have said not right now, you know, just messaging those people who are commenting, liking. So, you know, doing those 4 things and messaging is very important. And I remember, like, it was months ago, but Caitlin, you know, like she just said, she hasn't been really a messenger in her business, a messaging person in her business. But when we did it a while back and she was like, okay, what are you doing? And I would show her what I was doing. She literally, I think it was like 12 customers in like the first month she started messaging. And, you know, it just shows like messaging, when you're actually reaching out to people, like they're going to respond to you. You know, I mean, not all the time, but you're going to get more loyal customers and more distributors when you're messaging people versus not messaging people. But I do want to clarify, you don't want to spam people, you guys. So you don't want to just go add somebody on Facebook and message them right away asking them to try your product. That's not what we want to do. We want to build those relationships first. So,
and guys, I'm gonna be real with you. Do I hate, now I'm kind of getting over it because I feel like I'm reaching that point I talked to you guys about where you're callous to something. I've always hated messaging, and all of my business has really come to me mostly. And so, which has been really lovely, let me tell you. But here's the thing, if I'm being real, as much as I hate messaging, I hate being at a standstill in my business a lot worse. So you have to decide what sucks more, being at a standstill in your business. You know, I've been at a standstill for 2 years, 2 years. So what sucks more, being at a standstill for 2 years or messaging? I'm going to go with being at a standstill. So just to get a little real with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that was all of the questions I have. Does anybody else have any other questions, or do you guys want to add anything?
Well, somebody asked on here, and I have a distributor who hasn't done anything, and she said she'll do things when she's ready. I don't know what to do. So Jessica, is she basically just being really negative? I'm trying to figure out the question. So, okay, this is kind of on the same topic, but okay, so one thing that we get asked all the time is if people aren't working, what do I do? And I feel like that's something that I know Amanda's gotten asked, Caitlin's gotten asked a million times, and myself is included. And we're always looking for that runner. And, again, the queen, Pam Sauer, she's always got the most real advice, and she's always right, you guys. Like, when we're looking for that runner, and I'm going to say, like, we are all guilty of this, like, looking for that runner, but not being that runner. Like, when you are in this business, you have to run. Like, if you are going for a diamond promotion, you keep working, you hope people do something, but you just know you're going to do that whether you're doing it with them. You're doing it with them or without them. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to do this. So, while you're looking for that runner, be that runner until you find them. Because, that energy while you're working, you're going to attract those people. They're going to see it, and they're going to want to join your business. So, I mean, that's kind of do you guys have any advice on when people aren't working? I mean, I guess you can't make anybody do anything. You can inspire them. You can't motivate them. So
is she saying she doesn't want to work the business because it's only benefiting her upline? Is that the gist of it? Business, I swear. And I say this because I've been the biggest idiot about it of anyone, because I feel like I need to be everyone's cheerleader. Do not waste your time with people who have a bad attitude. Do not waste your time with people that don't want to work, that you have to convince there are so many people out there, you guys. This business changed my life. It changed my family's life. It saved my son's health. It's the reason he's not hooked up to an IV. I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince someone that this is real. If they don't see it, bye. I'm out there to try to find someone else like me.
Mm-hmm. And if they're not ready to help others, they're not ready to go anywhere with this business, because that's what this business is about, is helping others. And if they can't open their heart to do that and see what this business is about, I mean, it sounds like, you have to have what does Pam say? A brain cell for it. Like, you have to be ready, and you have to know. And if you're not ready to help others, you're not going to go anywhere. You will go zero. You will go nowhere. So don't waste your time.
Yeah, definitely. And, also, if they're not, because I'm not quite sure who it is, Jessica, that you're talking about, but I know all the distributors underneath you, I've never seen them on any of the trainings. I've never seen them, comment on, any of the, be plugged in. And so, if they're not going to put effort into this business, then obviously their business isn't going to grow, and I don't know why she would think she's going to benefit me. Why me? I didn't enroll her.
So not to be should we stop?
Why me?
Hey, Amanda, you should stop recording because I want to say something really fast and I don't know if I want to read it.